Looking to make some healthier habits this holiday season? Make sure to check out our Moving Through Midlife community over on Facebook, as we are doing a Planksgiving event where we are doing daily plank workouts. We will be doing an advent for healthy, happy hips this holiday season, and then also have a sugar challenge, a 2-week sugar challenge that you might be interested in. Happy holidays!
Welcome to Raising Healthy Humans, where you as a busy mom can come each week to find information on health and wellness for your family. Enjoy experts discussing tips to help raise children through each phase of life. Gather current information on nutrition and wellness. And listen to Courtney, a personal trainer, health coach, movement specialist, and founder of FormFit, a community where she helps busy moms move more. Here, she provides you with movement and posture tips while sharing information you need to help raise healthy humans.
Today I am speaking with Julia Joseph, co-founder of Maple Hill Creamery, a grass-fed organic farm that is committed to regenerative farming for the health of their cows and the land, while also providing you with 100% traceable products. She discusses the difference between grass-fed and organic milk, the benefits of regenerative farming, and why it's important to know where your milk comes from. I hope you enjoy it.
I'm Julia Joseph, co-founder of Maple Hill Creamery, head of creative and branding for Maple Hill, and our company's 13 years old. I am actually not the farmer in the family. Okay. My brother, Tim, was the farmer, and that's how we founded Maple Hill, was on his single farm. So we started with one single farm in Western New York, and now we are up to 140 plus small family farms in Western New York. So I handle more of the brand side of the business with the creative, and what you see on shelf is what I've developed. And I work with our brand voice and tone on shelf, across social media, and the public eye.
Okay. You know, it's funny. I had received an email from you all, and I don't know if it was one of those things where you recently got into our local grocery store, or if it was one of those where I learned your name and then saw you, but I noticed you are in our Publix grocery stores.
Yeah. We've been in Publix for probably about 6 years, 7 years, maybe even more at this point.
So I didn't even know.
You don't really, it's interesting. We have, some consumers and friends that are like, Maple Hill. And then we say, oh, it's a white carton with a cow on it and like grass underneath the cow's feet. And they're like, oh, it's in my refrigerator. I've been buying it for years. And they just put it there. Like, well, thanks. That's great. Appreciate it.
Can you tell me what is the difference between your milk and maybe like your store bought milk, the regular grocery store milk?
Yes. So we like to say we provide milk with integrity, and that's not just on shelf and what the consumers are consuming, but also how the milk is produced and how our practice of farming is, which is 100% grass-fed organic. And that's very different than majority of the milks that are on the shelf. We were the pretty much the black sheep 13 years ago on shelf, offering products that are 100% grass-fed. But also in the farming industry, our practice of farming was just like unheard of to go to 100% grass-fed organic. We have a lot of conventional and organic farmers who said we could never produce enough milk with our cows and be able to have them thrive eating the food they were supposed to, which is 100% grass, 365 days out of the year. And so we're very different because our practice of farming is back to the basics, the way it used to be, way before industrialized farming. And that's where we're at today. Even our organic farms are industrialized farming. That's still feeding the cows corn and grain, which is not their natural diet. They still are in confined spaces, just like conventional industrialized farms are. They don't have to leave their tie stalls, except for organic. They have to leave 30% of their lives out on grass, and that's not a lot at all. So there's not much difference between organic and confined on the treatment of the animals, and also the land that they are farming on, and the practice of it. It's just organic food. They can't do antibiotics, hormones for organic. Conventional can do that. 100% grass-fed can't do any of that. We set up regulations and guidelines. We actually created a certification with Organic Valley. We worked well together probably been the last 5 years. We started a certification for products that are 100% grass-fed, which really helps clarify for consumers what is 100% grass-fed and what is trigger word grass-fed, meaning they eat grass for 10% of their lives. So a lot of brands will say that because they're jumping on the bandwagon. But we've taken it to the next step of continuing to educate consumers and understand the difference between 100% grass or organic to organic and conventional milk. And looking for a certification is really important, just like when organic came out with their certification 15 years ago, maybe 15 plus at this point. That helped consumers understand what they were buying when it came to dry goods, fruits, vegetables, meats, and dairy. So grass-fed is now in that same boat as organic, as consumers are becoming more and more familiar with the term 100% grass-fed. It used to be within the beef industry, and now consumers are understanding it now, even in our conventional food stores like Publix, Walmart, Hannaford, ShopRite, not just in the mom and pop stores.
Right.
So Maple Hill was the first 13 years ago to break through those barriers. And now we have Horizon Organic Valley also offering it, which is great because it gives more exposure to 100% grass-fed organic. But we are the largest 100% grass-fed organic company in the US, and we were the first. So we still are holding that badge and really proud about that.
And I know this is maybe more for your brother, right? What made you all decide to do that when everybody was telling you, no, you won't be able to? Was there something was it just something you felt you had to do for the animals, or?
Yeah, so there was a time when Tim purchased the farm, it was conventional originally. He had never farmed before, him and Laura, his wife. We grew up on 20 acres, had every animal except for a cow, which is hilarious. And we ended up in the dairy industry. But he purchased the farm because he really was born in the wrong era. He was a director at a very large corporation, and he always loved to farm and do things outside. So we ended up purchasing a dairy farm and working it. And, the local farms would help try to guide him on how to raise the cows, because that's what you do. You don't know how to do it, so you're going to ask your neighbors. And it all seemed to make sense until you saw the bottom line and the overhead of all of it. And also understanding what's best for the nutrition of the animal and also of your land. And they always wanted to go organic. So they went organic, and then the higher prices came in, and you're still getting the price of a conventional milk. So that's upside down financially. So everything was very heavy. And so he knew about 100% grass-fed organic, and he knew the benefits of it for the animals, the land, the farm in general, and the milk itself. And he couldn't afford to continue to pay for the corn and grain. And so by default, he started grass-fed organic earlier than he thought he would, which was fantastic, because then he was able to utilize all the acreage he had, which was about 400 acres at that point, and he could manage a 100% grass-fed farm and feed his animals and keep them thriving. And we all witnessed it, the transformation on the farm, from the land to the cows to the milk. It was incredible. Yeah.
That's great. In regards to the grass-fed, you said is there something that we should be looking for with 100% grass-fed? Is there a symbol? Is there a stamp? What?
There's a certification that we worked with Organic Valley on for 100% grass-fed organic, and it's a green seal. You can look it up on our website. You'll see it on our packaging. That's really a good place to start, is just looking for the certifications. And then if you're not sure, if a brand is not able to be certified, you should do because they're maybe not big enough, or they just have gotten to that point and they are 100% grass-fed. Truly do your research as a consumer, educate yourself. That's extremely important.
Okay. Well, and you mentioned earlier that you were traceable. Can you go into this a little bit more, how you're 100% traceable and what that means for us as
Absolutely.
consumers? Yeah.
Yes, this is really important for me as a consumer.
Okay.
I love to know where my food comes from. I love to know how and why and what is being produced. It's really important to me. And so Maple Hill, we have a milk shed, and it's called the Maple Hill Milk Shed. And so every farm that sells to Maple Hill sells only to Maple Hill. And we are a segregated milk pool from other milk pools that a lot of larger companies will purchase milk from, that could come from thousands of different farms. They'll call up and say, hey, we need 2 million pounds of milk, but you don't know what farms it comes from, where it's from. It's just a milk pool.
Okay.
So all of Maple Hill's farms are in Western New York. We know our farmers. We have communication with our farmers monthly, quarterly. We have farm meetings. We have farm walks. We do education for our farmers. We have certifications that have to happen when you become a Maple Hill farmer, not just with us, but also USDA, to become organic and grass-fed organic. And so it's, I think of Maple Hill as a large-scale farmers market, because when you go to a farmers market, I love going to farmers market. I get to see who is producing the food, speak to the farmer, local, that's great. But you can't always get 100% grass-fed organic at your local farmers market or a local store. So we're nationally distributed, and we provide the comfort for consumers who go to farmers markets to know their farmer, traceability, transparency, and we do that in a larger scale.
Okay.
So, we know our farmers, we know where our milk comes from, and that's huge to me.
And is that something that we can find if we were to go to your website? We're able to see that for ourselves, or no, it's not?
No, we don't advertise where the locations of farms are for privacy.
Right. Yeah.
But all of our farms are in Western New York.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's Albany west down to Finger Lakes, Utica, Syracuse, a little north of that, Cooperstown area.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, and I've noticed on your Instagram, is that y'all's farm, or is that others' farm?
Oh, on Instagram, that's all some of our farms.
Yours.
So we have some of our farmers who provide some images of their families and their day-to-day, which is always fun to see.
Yeah.
So yes.
Okay.
Those are our actual farms. And that cows that are actually on our cartons are actually cows on our farms.
Okay.
Which is really cool.
Yeah.
You get to see them in the fields, and you go and visit them, which is really neat.
Yeah. Well, and I had actually heard about the whole, not in regards to the milk pool, but this was in regards for eggs. A friend of mine was telling me, like, you do realize that some of the eggs that you're buying that are organic, they're all from different distributors, or farms, different farms. So I thought that was interesting. I'm curious. I would assume that mine that I buy, I don't know, they look different. So I think they're specific to a specific farm, like yours might be as well.
Can I ask you what brand?
Vital Farm.
Good one.
Oh, good. Yeah, you can tell, like, I've bought organic eggs before, and I cracked it open. I'm like, this doesn't look the same, but Vital Farms, it does. So that's good. They're
a great option. Good choice.
Yeah, I love them. Well, and I'll be trying. So I have to ask you a question. I have children in the house that are lactose intolerant. Is there any difference with your milk? May we notice a difference drinking your milk with that? Because I want to try it.
It's interesting you asked that, because we've had in the last 13 years, a lot of consumers who have contacted us and said, hey, I had major lactose issues for years, and I tried your products, and I'm feeling like I can continue to eat them. My stomach's not getting upset. I'm not getting the phlegm as much. There is a different composition to grass-fed organic milk for sure. And it's because it's a balanced milk, because the cows are eating what they should be eating. So I think that we haven't been able to do any kind of testing for this, but because we've had so many consumers reach out to us in the past and discuss it, it's interesting to think about how there has to be something with the composition of the milk and what the cows are eating. And the corn and grain could be throwing the milk off that's provided on shelf that's not Maple Hill. And that throws your system off. There's also our yogurts, which are kefir, Greek, and cream on top. And we, from the beginning, incubated them a lot longer than most companies. And that broke down the lactose levels, which was really interesting too. So we had some consumers say, not just with our milk, but our yogurt as well, that they were able to eat it, enjoy it. And they were so relieved they could get back into yogurt.
Yeah.
So you give it a try for sure.
No, I
Not
definitely
work for
want
everybody, but
okay. Yeah, I noticed it when I went to the grocery store and I was like, I need to ask her this because I want to try it. So excellent. Talk to us about regenerative farming. What are the benefits of doing this for our planet and our cows, I'm guessing, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So we, from the beginning, our mission was to leave the land 13 years ago, leave the land better than when we found it. And the way we do that is just by the practice of farming that our farmers choose and what we chose to do from the beginning, which is 100% grass-fed organic. And that practice of farming just organically and naturally regenerates the land from the beginning. We were regenerating the land before regenerative was a buzzword or even a word,
right? Yeah,
being thrown out there. You know, it was just happening already. And so what happens on our farms is it's really quite simple. We let cows be cows. And what does that mean? That means we let them live in their natural environment and allow them to eat their natural diet, which is 100% grass in the growing season, hay in the winter. So it's all grass across the board.
Okay.
And when you allow the cows to be out on pasture during the growing season, they actually help facilitate that regeneration of the soil and sequester carbon back into the soil just by ripping the tops of the grass off so that the roots can grow. That needs to happen in order to have the roots grow stronger and get deeper into the soil. And then just by walking in the paddocks that we have roped off each day that we move them to, their hooves are aerating the soil every single day too. Then we have a natural fertilizer, which is their poop. Instead of, pesticides and chemical fertilizers, our cows do it just by walking, eating, pooping, the sun, and rain. And so that's done every single day on our farm. Also in the winter, even when they're not out in the pasture, this land needs to have an incubation period. And that's what happens here in New York is we get snow. It's like the perfect environment for 100% grass-fed farming, because when it snows, it then insulates the soil and it lets it rest and get into that rejuvenation and regeneration state so that when spring comes and spring flush, the grass starts to come up full, lush, more nutrients are in the grass because of that process. And it's all just a closed loop system within the farm, which is pretty amazing.
Yeah.
And then the other thing that's interesting about Maple Hill is because we allow cows to be on pasture, it's very different than what I had discussed earlier with the conventional and organic farms that keep them in confined spaces. They use large pieces of equipment and they bring the food to the cows. We take the cows to their food, which right there cuts down on fossil fuels and our carbon footprint as a company.
Okay, that's great.
And our farms.
Yeah. Do you end up having other animals on the farm as well to help with the whole regenerative process?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. There's some farms that just stick with their cows, and then some farms actually cycle other animals through the pastures after the cows, like chickens or sheep. Pigs generally would not be on pasture, or cows would be, put them more into a wooded area. But our farms have a mix of animals. It's not all the farms, but it is a process that's done on the grass-fed organic farms.
Okay, that's what I thought I had heard. So I wanted to check with you to see.
They all work hand in hand. It's a harmonious web of life within the farms.
Okay, so then are people then with the chickens or something? Is there something going on where people are doing selling chicken eggs or anything like that, or no?
Oh, I'm sure at their local stands, but nothing through us or nothing through Maple Hill. It's just milk with Maple Hill. Most likely they're selling it locally or they're producing it for themselves.
Okay. What other products you mentioned yogurt that you have and kefir,
Yep.
kefir.
So, yep. So what we have is fluid milk, which is our half-gallon whole milk and 2%. And then we offer shelf-stable 8-ounce boxes, which I like to say pantry safe. That is the first 100% grass-fed organic milk box, which doesn't have to be refrigerated until you open it.
Oh.
And that's been great for kids, to send to school, to send to camps when kids can go back to camp. I'm hoping that happens for everybody this summer with all this COVID crazy. But with the kids, going back to school, traveling, it's great. Now, obviously on the plane, you can't bring fluid 8 ounces, but road trips, not just kids, but also, taking it to the office, going for a workout, having it in your bag afterwards. Such a great product. It's one of my favorites. That's available on Amazon. And then we also offer kefir, which is a drinkable yogurt, and that has really great, amazing probiotics that are belly friendly. We offer that in plain strawberry and vanilla. And then we also offer a Greek yogurt, which in my opinion, of course, is the best Greek yogurt you're going to find on the market. That is plain and vanilla. And then we also offer our first product, which was cream on top, which is the old school way of making yogurt. It's not homogenized. When you open up the 32-ounce plain or vanilla, you'll get a really beautiful layer of cream on top. And then you mix it in with your spoon. And I actually don't mix it in, I just eat the top. And then I use the rest of the yogurt in parfaits or, cooking. And then we also offer the first 100% grass-fed organic certified butter. And that is salted. And then we're just releasing unsalted this summer.
Okay. I haven't seen that yet. Is that?
Do you shop at Whole Foods? Because, right, it's exclusive until I think end of May in Whole Foods. And then it'll be released to other stores. Okay.
I was, okay. Yes, that's a little far away from me, but I can go there. So
hopefully Publix, make your request at Publix. See what happens.
And then also for the yogurt, explain this cream on top one a little bit more. So that's different than your regular yogurt.
Yeah, so we don't have a regular yogurt. What
you don't?
Americans would consider regular yogurt. It's interesting because cream on top is actually the original yogurt until we Americans decided to turn it into a candy bar in a cup instead. So in the US, it's a normal practice to homogenize all of the fat and the cream through the milk. So then it spreads through the yogurt and it's a smoother consistency. And it's adds a little more body and consistent body. Now, cream on top is pretty much back to the basics of how you would make it on the farm or in Europe. This is how they still make it. That you do the same process except for the homogenization. And so when it's incubating, the cream then rises to the top and solidifies. And again, it's like 1.5 inches, sometimes 2 inches thick, which is pretty amazing depending on the season. And then underneath is a looser yogurt, which is still delicious. Yeah.
So is this something that you would then, just like all the other yogurts, you could?
Yep. Normal. I just made parfaits for my nephew and his wife last night with it, and you can cook with it. You can, we serve it in 32 ounce. We offer it in 32-ounce containers. So it's really good to have for cooking, eating in general, marinades. Plain is our number one, believe it or not, still plain cream on top next to our fluid milk, whole milk.
Yeah. I was wondering, is there flavored with them or no?
Probably. Yeah. So we offer in vanilla too. So plain and vanilla, and our flavored products, vanilla, strawberry, and vanilla Greek, vanilla kefir, all of those do have a very small amount of sugar, the smallest amount we possibly could put in that would cut the tartness, because not all consumers want that tart and tang.
Right.
But we are still extremely low when it comes to sugar in our products. But 90% of our products have 0 sugar. It's just the milk, the cultures, and that's it.
I'm all for that. I definitely want to try it. I don't think I've seen the yogurts at my store. I'm going to go look, because I definitely saw the milk. I'm going to grab that. And then also I'm going to look for the yogurts.
Check out on our website, there's a store finder, and it does say what stores have what products in your area. So that may be helpful for you.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Let me know, where can we find you or your products? How can we learn more about Maple Hill Creamery? Let me know all of that information as well.
Sure. So you could visit our website, which is maplehill.com. That covers the brand across the board, plus education, 100% grass-fed organic, all about our products. You can purchase our products. Like I said, you can go through our store finder, but we're in 7,000 stores plus Amazon across the nation. So we're in every state. We're in a lot of major food chains like Publix, Natural Grocers, Sprouts, Whole Foods, ShopRite, Hannaford, Stop and Shop, whole bunch of conventional. And then if you go to your local co-ops, a lot of times you'll find some Maple Hill products, also mom and pop shops. That's where we started way back, the grassroots. They brought us to where we are today.
Okay. And then I did, like I had mentioned earlier, I saw you on Instagram, and very good with sharing recipes and all of that as well for the product. So
yes. Yeah. Thank you. So I do majority of the recipe, creating the recipes and also shooting it. It's something I really enjoy. So whatever I do, they do share it on our Maple Hill Instagram page, but you could also follow me at official Julia Jane, spelled with a YJAYNE. Okay. But you can find that through Maple Hill Instagram. I'm up in that bio section.
Okay.
But definitely follow Maple Hill. We got some fun stuff going.
Yeah, definitely. And is there anything you want to leave with the listeners today?
I always like to say at the end of these kind of fun chats and conversations is that, when you purchase Maple Hill, you're not just supporting a brand, you're supporting 140 small family farms. Mm-hmm. And that to me is extremely important. And they've always been number one since the beginning, is to save the farms. And that's why we founded Maple Hill. And we've continued to bring on more farms that were as crazy as us to go out, step outside the box. And they're doing it right. And it's not the easy way, but they're doing it right. It's management every single day. And not just, don't just support Maple Hill brands, but you should also search out brands that are like us, who really are concerned and about the wellness of our animals, the lands, being very conscious about what we put in our products. Mm-hmm. And also continue to go to your local farmers markets. There's so many great small scale food producers that you will find at farmers markets that you may not find on shelf. It's always fun to see what's out there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think as well with all of this is that regenerative farming, I feel with everything that is going on right now, this is the future. Like we have got to get control. And if we want to make sure that our children have a healthy planet to live on, we've got to go back to this. So
back to the basics.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's going to be a long trip, Courtney, but I think if we just start small, it's not going to happen overnight. I've had to, a lot of times ask this question, when do you think we could actually start across the board changing farming practices? And it's like, maybe in 100+ years. There's just so much that has to happen. The land's been stripped down from crop farming, improper crop farming, improper industrialized farming. There's just so much that needs to happen to make that happen.
Right.
But we can choose now the brands that are doing it right and the farms that are doing it right and support them, so we can continue to educate consumers.
Yes. And that's the biggest thing. We as consumers need to put our money where we want change to occur.
100%.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to speak with me.
This was so fun, Courtney. Thank you. Yes. I wish I was down there in Florida. It's not warm here yet in New York. It's still like 55 and 20-mile-an-hour winds.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So thank you so much. I had a good time and really appreciate you asking me to be on your podcast. I'm flattered.
Excellent. Thank you so much. so much for taking time out of your day to listen to our podcast. I hope that you found this information valuable, and I hope that you were able to immediately use some of the information that was provided. Make sure to go check out our show notes for all of the links that we discussed today. As a mom, I understand that at times you can feel alone and are looking for that sense of community. Here at FormFit, I am bringing moms together in a healthy and supportive community. I would love for you to come join us over in our free Facebook community that is FormFit Community. Join us over there where we can get to know you more, or feel free to try out our membership free for 7 days. It provides you with workouts, recipe guides, information on healthy hormones, healthy habits, posture information, accountability calls, and in-person and Zoom events. Plus, you can receive one-on-one training from me for 50% off. Find out all the information by going to formfitonline.com so that you can learn more. Now, go out and enjoy your day while practicing small, healthy choices that will make lasting changes.